Well, hi again folks, it's me again. We're just about ready to head off down to Big C for a spot to eat, and it's like the weekly trip around the markets down there, which makes my girl so happy. Anyway, look, just as an opener for this video, there's been a few comments recently on our forum about Thailand driving. I did mention on Facebook a few days ago that I finally succumbed, I think it's the best word, to buying one of these driving cameras. So I thought I'd just give you a quick rundown on that and take it from there. Anyway, I'll just cue the intro. Yeah, so here we have our little driving camera, and we've got one that's fitted to, different people get in this car all the time and change everything, I tell you, it gets annoying. There we go. Ready for driving. Yeah, so it's a rear vision mirror fitted one there, so it's got the picture, it's got our front view, it's also got our reverse view. And it's nicely tidied into the whole fitting of the car. Now, as I said on Facebook, this is probably, out of all the ones we've looked at over the last couple of months, this is probably the most expensive one. Now, unfortunately, I cannot give you the brand, because the brand is some sort of Chinese, I don't even know if it's Chinese or Japanese. I'll try to find out what I can about the brand at some stage. But as if you've ever gone onto Lazara, sort of, the online website, there's something like 50,000 different driving cameras out there. This one here was 3,600 baht. I think I gave a price, what's that, $70 odd, $71 Australian. No, what was it, 71 or something? 3,000 baht. That's 120 odd dollars, I think it is, something like that. Could be more. I don't even have my calculator with me. Anyway, price aside, I know it was 3,600 baht. I try to help you out with the whole conversion stuff, but unless of course I've got my app on my phone running, I can never work out what the real prices are, because I've been here a year. I now relate everything that I do in Thai baht and how much it fits into my budget. But anyway, 3,600 baht. That was fitted. It's a front and rear camera version. It has some nice features. It automatically detects when I go into reverse gear. It automatically changes the view on the camera there to the reverse camera. It gives me a little sort of a driving box there, so I can see what's behind me. I'll just quickly take you outside to show you that one. So there's the camera just fitted there on the back of the car. It's nicely screwed on, it's fairly well fixed, and it gives us a pretty good view on the back of the camera. I suppose it's not really dirt resistant and water resistant at that level. I suppose the camera is, but you just got to make sure you keep it clean, because a lot of dirt gets thrown up on the back. A few people asked me about the car. Yeah, this is just a standard Toyota Vios. I don't know what year it is. It's at least probably 8 to 10 years old, this car, but it's fully paid for. I know we bought it we bought it was it 2010, I think we bought the car, and it was bought second hand there. I think it was 5 years old in 2010, so probably, so it's 2005, so it's at least 11 or 12 years old. I've no real intention of buying a new car, not in any short term anyway. I've told Chanya that we'll definitely look at getting a new car when she's working and she can bring in an income. But while it's all my money, I don't see any need to change the car. It's a serviceable piece of equipment. Still runs, gets good fuel economy. Hey, look, it's a car. But anyway, Yeah, so it's you know, why do we worry about putting these rear vision these camera devices in the car? Well, this one here, I decided that what I wanted something was just a no fuss thing, so that it's always on. As soon as you get in the car, as soon as you start driving, it's recording. It does a loop recording thing there, and I think he said that with the memory card, it'll record the last 12 hours in 5-minute rotations or whatever. My only concern that I had when buying it was obviously temperature, because it does get hot, and you know, it's not hot now, it's the rainy season, but it does get hot in Thailand, and you know, like all electronics have a serviceable temperature. This one here has a sort of 0 to 50 degrees Celsius operating temperature. I think it was minus 20 to 70 degrees in an off mode or whatever they said. I really don't know how those things equate when it comes down to it, but you know, the numbers seem good compared to what was on the marketplace. As I said, it was also the most expensive one, so well, the most expensive one where we saw, it was the fitted price. But the real reason we bought it was the fact that, you know, like even the Thais now are really falling into this whole thing of recording what happens, because as a Farang, you know, you try to argue with the police, you're just going to get nowhere, unless of course the police officers can speak Thai. What do I mean, can they speak Thai? No, can they speak English? So in my case here, I just say, well, I was driving in my lane and somebody cut in front of me. That's about all I can say, you know, and I've got to try to relate that to the police officer. Just hold on a second. So here's the actual brand of the box. It's called the A19. This, do you know, how do you say this? What name?
I think English.
Does it have English?
Chinese.
Yeah, does it have an English name? Okay, on the back here, Shenzhen, you can, oh God.
You can ngán.
Let's see how close I can get this thing here without losing focus. Yeah, so there is a company, there's a Line logo there. If you've got your Line app, you can probably sort of check that one out. But yeah, so that's the box it came in.
Guarantee 1 year.
Guarantee 1 year.
Yeah.
And what you doing now, darling? But anyway, so as I was saying, so even Thais these days rely on the camera, because it, you know, when it comes to a traffic accident, it's your word against the other driver, and unless of course you've got some sort of photographic evidence, it's getting harder and harder.
Yeah.
Right? So, the car was open. I don't know.
You drunk or?
No, I'm not drunk.
You open before why you lock?
I just was not thinking, darling. Why you want to have a go at me now? Huh? You don't love me anymore.
I always love you, but sometimes you crazy with me. Tell people. Sometimes he want to agree with me, but I don't know something he need. Oh my God.
I'm not angry with you.
Oh, sometimes you joking, kidding, argue. Oh my God.
I just get frustrated sometimes, but I still love Thailand.
I tell you before here, Thailand only. Crazy.
Thailand is crazy place, yeah. Anyway, so here we are at our local Big C again. And she's so happy she can see the market again.
No.
Yeah. Why are you so crazy for market? Anyway, so what was I talking about? I always get sidetracked half the time when I'm sort of doing these videos, because, you know, I press the record button and then I press the stop button and then I go and do something. Now we were talking about Thai driving. I think that was the basic topic for today. So as I said, we've been having a bit of discussion on, the pros and cons of Thai driving and everything else. Well, there's some challenges. I think there's challenges everywhere you've got on the planet, no matter what you're doing. It depends on, I suppose, you as the driver. The first thing I would propose there is, you can, got a bit of background noise. Have a think about how many times have you had an accident in your own vehicle, in your own country, in the last 25 years? Even if you haven't been driving for 25 years, well, have a think about how many accidents have you had. Coming to Thailand to drive, guess what? You know, if you've had accidents before, you're more than likely going to have accidents again. Me, I don't really have a problem driving in Thai roads. I don't feel challenged with it. I don't feel threatened in any way. Mind you, I've been driving for 40 years. I've had one accident in my mid-20s. That was a bit of a wake-up call, that I was a bit on the aggressive side of driving, and the car I had built at that time, there was a little bit top end, won't go into it, you know, I was a bit of a redhead, and wet weather and everything else, and somebody slid out in front of me and I couldn't stop in time. But hey, look, one accident, I think in 40 years of driving, gives you an idea that, well, maybe I know a thing or two on the road. But aside from that, you got to think about that yourself. You know? If you had a pretty good driving record, well, it would sort of say one thing is the fact that maybe you're a bit more aware than most drivers. So you're not going to really have a problem here in Thailand, apart from having to deal with the whole language problem, which is where, you know, again, talking about the car cameras, that's might come in handy for you. You know, video evidence, you know, a picture tells 1,000 words, as they say. So have a think about it, you know, if you're driving in Thailand. It'll make life a bit easier. Now, how many times you had problem crash in car? How many times you had car accident? How many times have you had a car accident driving? One time?
2 times.
2 times. 3 times.
Maybe 4 times.
4, she's
but just a little bit.
Yeah, just little fender benders. Yeah.
Turn back, chrome.
Yeah, she a reversing problem.
Somebody in the car.
What, scratch?
Yes.
Well, that's not an accident. That's somebody. That's vandalism. Yeah.
And
when you had problem, you had chin problem when you hit something and you broke chin.
Yeah.
What was that? That was somebody you crashed into?
No, car.
Somebody you crashed or somebody crashed into you? You got too fast?
No, somebody.
In the back?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, so okay, so she's had three accidents in, what, she's 33, so 3 accidents in 15 years, and 1 case of vandalism, which I don't really call an accident, but you know, still a driving incident. But she still lives to tell the tale, and as I said, there have only been fender benders. It's nothing really serious. Mine was actually quite a serious accident. Trying to sort of pull up at 60 kilometres an hour on a wet road with somebody who just suddenly appears in your lane at 90 degrees and is not moving. No amount of sort of, you know, preparing for that sort of stop was going to save her. Such is life. Yeah, getting back to the whole thing. So the first thing is just thinking about, you know, yourself. You know, are you a good driver? Are you a bad driver? And the real way to determine that is how many times have you had an accident before? Yeah, so when driving on Thai roads, the first thing, of course, you've got to remember is the fact that you are a guest in this country, right? And, you know, although that, you know, I suppose we're all guests on this planet, Thais and Farang, right, may not see eye to eye on the way that the adjudication of the problem that you encounter on the road might be. Always, you know, try to stay positive. If you don't have video evidence, then you're going to be struggling. Now, in sort of tourist destinations, you'll have your tourist police who do speak English and a few other languages. That will help you. Of course, trying to find those tourist police can be difficult if you've had an accident on the road, simply because of the fact that you should never leave the accident or the scene of the accident, no matter what takes place. Of course, if there's been a serious enough accident that you're in hospital and they take you away in an ambulance, I suppose you really can't avoid that. But yeah, for fender benders, no matter who's involved, wait till the police get there, let them deal with getting a translator up to the scene. Yes, you might be inconvenienced by an hour or two, just bite the bullet and just deal with it. What else is there? So apart from the fact that you are a guest on the road, everybody on the road has an equal right to be on their road. They pay their road taxes the same as like the vehicle you're driving has already had the road taxes and insurance included. So doesn't give you any more right to be in the right any more than anybody else. So just consider those things too. Thais are the nicest people I've encountered. They would just as easily just smash into you and then say, "Oh, can't talk up, sorry." I didn't mean it, and give you the nicest smile. And what can you do? Wait for the police. Wait for the police. It's really one of those sort of things. Thais have a sort of a style, I would call it an offensive driving style, not offensive as in bad mannered, but like they drive to survive. Right? I guess they've had to drive. They've had to live with in Bangkok. They've had to live with 8 million people on the road. It's part of how they are. It's part of what they've grown up with. They're on motorcycles from probably the age of 12. They deal with the whole immediate situation very well. They got very quick reactions. When they don't, obviously it becomes a problem. When they've been drinking, it becomes a problem. It is a bit of a problem here in Thailand, but I don't think it's really, apart from the fact that, in Australia it's, the nanny state, which has been cracking down on drinking for the last 20 years. I think Thailand's a bit behind the time on the way that they deal with the whole alcohol problem on the roads, and they could do a lot more to enforce those rules. But again, you've got to remember the police are just people as well, and I think that they are probably, in sort of one case, a little bit undermanned with the policing staff to enforce road rules. Well, that's what it seems like to me. You've also got to remember the fact that Thais really, they might seem like they never have anywhere to be at any particular time. When they get on the road, it's like a complete 180 degrees. They always seem to be in a hurry to be somewhere, unless of course they're not. You never can tell. It's just not like you can read this stuff. If you're used to keeping 3 car lengths distance in your normal country, from the car in front of you, make it 5. Yes, somebody will squeeze into that gap. If you leave a 5-car space in front of you, 2 cars will get in that space. That's a guarantee. Just deal with it. It's the way Thais are, right? They will change lanes, 5 times in 100 yards. In fact, quite often you'll find them actually sitting on the in between 2 lanes because they want to see up. I don't know what it is. They're just always in a hurry somewhere. Exactly what they're doing. They don't realise the fact that all this lane changing actually creates the problem of the traffic to start with. Merging. They have got no respect for merging traffic. So if you've got a 3-lane road and a 2-lane road merging, usually you'll find it's merging into a 4-lane road. That's pretty much how the designs of the roads work. But what you'll find is the fact that 3-lane road is actually sort of using 4 lanes. The 2-lane road is actually using 3 lanes, and they're still trying to squeeze into 4 lanes. So you've got 7 lanes squeezing into 4. Right, it is absolute bedlam. That's one of the biggest things that causes traffic jams here, because they just don't stay in their lanes. And again, you have to deal with that. Motorcycles, like some of these main roads, there is no cross-street turning. You actually have to use U-turns. But a driver on a motorcycle wouldn't think to actually go down 300 yards, hang a U-turn, right, come back up 300 yards and then do another U-turn, right, to get to the place they want to be on this side of the road. No, they'll just do a U-turn on the spot, and they'll ride up the gutter against opposing traffic, right, and that's it. You're driving down the road, and you got headlights on your right hand, right, from your oncoming traffic, and you got headlights from motorcycles on the left hand. It can be really quite daunting when you're doing the driving thing. Again, this is Thailand. This is what happens. Police should be enforcing it, but it's just one of those sort of things. I think they have more important things to do than to be doing that sort of minor road infringement. Again, they just put it down to the fact that, well, if they kill themselves, they kill themselves. The Darwin theory, the Darwin Awards takes care of the people who aren't good at it. They soon read the gene pool. But it's not a laughing matter, I know. But it's you got to be a little bit tongue in cheek about this whole thing. Kids on the road. We're in Bangkok, and it's quite a built-up area. There really aren't playgrounds. I actually meant to do a vlog on this at some stage. Public parks, they're really non-existent. There's really nowhere to take your kids, right? If you're growing up kids around Bangkok, it's not like where we were in Australia. We had like in our suburb, Hornsby Heights, I think we had 4 public parks in that one suburb. I think I've come across 2 public parks in our main Ampol or main district, which is probably 10 times the size of Hornsby Heights. It's not like there is provision for kids to go and play. They will play on the road, right? They don't play on the highways per se, but they play on the roads, right? You have to deal with that as well. And again, you got a lot of people in Bangkok, so there's a lot of kids on the road. And the other thing is, of course, we drive on the left-hand side. Instead of saying that, like I'm used to driving on the left-hand side because it's the same side that we drive on in Australia, and I think UK also has that sort of style of driving too. The other half of the world drives on the right-hand side. So what you've got to remember is, like we've got China just north of us, and they come down in their droves for holidays. They are used to driving on the right-hand side of the road, and it's amazing how many. Well, I don't believe in statistics, but there's a lot of discussion about the fact that this is one of the major contributors in traffic accidents, because people who drive on the right-hand side of the road, right, are really not that switched on to left-hand side driving, and they'll make ridiculous turns across traffic, thinking that they're safe when they are not. They're just not looking in the right place. It's like a muscle memory, right? And you've got to think about that, right? If you drive on the right-hand side, you've already got a predisposed muscle memory and a way of driving that is suited to your country, right? It's all different. You have to get used to that. These are sort of the major problems that cause most of these accidents. There was a push a couple of years ago, I think, just after the junta took over. There was actually a big discussion that they were actually going to pay the population to convert all their left-hand drive vehicles to right-hand drive and conform to, the China way of driving. I think that one got quashed pretty quickly, but that's the sort of thinking that goes on around here. It's quite funny. Well, anyway, look, I don't want to go too much about the whole driving thing. This is something you're going to have to get to deal with. My best advice is get the Uber app loaded, get the Grab app loaded. Surely, if you're coming for holidays, you can afford the taxis and the Uber. It's not expensive. Let somebody else do the driving. If you're here and you're living and you're still considering about the whole driving thing, well, you probably already have to deal with it already, so I'm just thinking I'm probably just talking to a converted. But yeah, for holidaying, just rely on the taxis, rely on the Uber, rely on the Grab. They'll get you there safely. That's really the main thing I'm trying to get across here. But it's just not worth ruining your holiday. That's the big point. You know, you're coming over here for a holiday. You're coming over here to enjoy yourself, right? Like we're 30 kilometres from the airport, and that cost me 600 baht. You know, like to actually go from the airport to home when I was travelling. What's that? Like $25. God, you couldn't do that in Australia. I think that's the same distance in Australia would be like $125. And well, anyway, look, we're going to do a bit more shopping, and we're going to go and get some pizza. Pizza and lasagna tonight, I think. I haven't had pizza for a few weeks, and I really do like the pizza here. So we'll see about that. And we'll catch up with you shortly, I guess. Yes, darling?
Yeah.
Yeah. Say bye-bye to the people.
Bye bye everybody. Mwah. Good boy.
Bye-bye. Oh my God.